So continuing with the 20th century, we have the same designs that we've had on all these coins since 1892 and the Barber series was introduced. At that point, there were 4 mints in operation. One of them, the Carson City Mint, would shut down after 1893. And from 1894 until into the 20th century, it would be 3 mints: Philadelphia, New Orleans, and San Francisco. So, coming into here, we have the early 20th century. The same 19th century designs and mints are all there. And we have the Indian head cent with its own distinctive design. We have the Liberty nickel, Liberty head nickel. All right, now the Barber Dime, the Barber quarter, and also this really nice bird design, which appears not only there, but also on the Barber $half. Nicely matched. Again, it's nice how they have a lot of these matches. And the Morgan dollar. So, and I apologize for the quality of this coin. That's just what's in the jar. So, even though they're not Barber, they're kind of consistent. And of course, also the gold coins, which still have these old designs here. This $2.50 gold, which it's had literally since 1840. $5, which this denomination has had in the coronet design since 1839. The $10 gold also since 1838. And then the $20 that was introduced in 1850, though the 1849 pattern always seems to be listed in the Red Book, but anyway, 1850 is when that was actually introduced. So this is where we were as we come into the 20th century, and that stays that way for the first several years until 1905, when the first change is made in that the Morgan dollar is deleted. So now for 1905, we have only these denominations. And 1906, the Denver Mint goes into operation, but it's still just the same denominations. Now, 1907, President Theodore Roosevelt's efforts to beautify our American coins finally begin to bear fruit in the form of these designs by Augustine St. Gaudens, whose $10 eagle really stands out. The Indian head $10 gold is quite a magnificent design, but even more extraordinary is his $20, which is called St. Gaudens because to call it anything else, we want his name to be remembered because he is responsible for this extraordinary design. Easily one of the most beautiful coins America has ever made, and maybe ever made in all of world history. I show these in 2 kinds because in 1907 you have some of these, and these also dated 1907, as well as these newly introduced coins. So this would be our set of coin types for 1907. 1908, of course, these are gone. However, this is also gone and gets totally substituted right away with this. Only that continues on in 1908. With both the old and the new being made with the year 1908 on the coin. So for 1908, these are our denominations. And oh, by the way, now the San Francisco Mint is beginning to make 1 cent pieces. The first time a branch mint is making base metal coins. So that's our set of coins for 1908. Now, 1908, this is now gone. And the gold coins have now been fully renovated to their 20th century designs. So we have these new Indian head Incus designs. Very unusual, kind of radical. And So it had never been done before, and doesn't seem to have been done much ever since either. The back seems to be kind of based on the ones from the St. Gaudens 10, but these are not done by St. Gaudens. Somebody else just kind of followed suit to make something kind of consistent there. So 1908. So 1909, well, 1909, something new is happening here. A new penny is being introduced. There are, once again, Indian heads of 1909, as well as a newly introduced Lincoln head penny. And with the wheat back. And briefly, the letters VDB, but they go away. I'm not going to show that here. This is just a basic typeset. So for 1909, these would be our coin set denominations. So we move into 1910. The Indian heads are now in the past. So also is the New Orleans Mint, and we're back down to the usual three mints now, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So this is our set for 1910, 1911, and 1912. 1913, we continue our upgrade of our coins by replacing the Liberty Head nickel with the Indian Head nickel or Buffalo nickel because of its buffalo on the back. So this is another very distinctive early 20th century design. And then the renovation will continue a little bit more a little later. And again, 1913, the Buffalo nickel goes through a few minor contusions with the die variations on the reverse with the Buffalo. I'm not drilling into that much detail as far as showing coins with these variations. So that's 1913 and 14 and 15. Now as we get into 1916, these three coins have at last run their course. It's time to be able to replace them. Anyway, we're trying to upgrade everything for the 20th century, and these Barber designs are basically seen by many as rather boring anyway. So it's now time for a new design. And in the case of the dime and the quarter, both old and new designs are made. The half dollar, the new design completely replaces the old design right from the get-go. But also in 1916, as we're getting ready to go into World War I, there is a fear of inflation and that we might not be able to keep the same standards for gold coins that we had before. So that goes away, but we still have these coins struck dated 1916. So this would be a complete set. We barely had any of these. Most of our quarters were this. This was about half and half of these two designs. Now, as we go into 1917, the Barber coins are now finally into history. And so the new 20th century designs have taken place. The gold coins, however, are all suspended for 1917. So 1917, these are our coins. And that's all there is. In 1918 and 1919. So now, 1920, however, the war is over, and it turns out we haven't had so much inflation that we need to change our gold standard coins. We are able to begin reintroducing gold coins. So for 1920, this is the set of coin types available on the U.S. Mint. Did I show that reverse? No, I haven't shown this one here. I had to show these. Yeah, okay. And also this. So now we're really getting into the 20th century. We got one more new coin design to be introduced, and that comes about in 1921, where, okay, this is once again suspended, but we now add, well, the return of the dollar coin, and then towards the very end of that year, a brand new design for the dollar coin, which at last introduces a new 20th century design for the silver dollar. And now at last, all the coin denominations have been given new designs for the 20th century, and probably some of the best designs for all of these denominations they'll ever get. Anyway, that's 1921. So 1922, well, the Morgan dollar understandably and predictably goes away. However, also for 1922. All of these lower coins go away, leaving literally nothing but the cent, the piece dollar, and the $20 gold. And that's all there was for 1922. Strange. I don't know what's going on. Things get a little flaky in the 1920s and 1930s. So, anyway, 1923, however, we're able to add back all of these coins that went away. So the 5 cent is back, and the 10 cent is back, and the 25 cent is back, and the 50 cent is back. The dollar still continues, and so does the $20 gold. Okay. For 1924, mysteriously, the 50 cent piece goes away, and now we're just down to these coins for 1924. 1925 remains mostly the same, other than to add back the $2.50 gold. So this is the set of coins for 1925. Now, 1926, we actually add back for the year the gold $10 piece. So that's pretty respectable. It's kind of nice to see how, even though it's reversed, you can still kind of see some similar motifs. Yeah, here's the back of our piece dollar, which also looks like it's the same bird as we saw here, just in a different pose. So again, you get sort of a consistency even while they're different. So that's it for 1925. Now, 1926, we got that. 1927. Well, for the good side, 50 cent finally returns. For the downside, the $10 again disappears, but we still have these denominations for 1927. And also 1928. Now, 1929, we lose this, but we gain for one last time a $5 gold. So this is our set of coins for 1929. And of course then comes the Great Depression, but at any rate, that's it for 1929. Now, 1930. We take away the 5 and the $2.50. These coins are gone. The $20 is, the $10 comes back. And the $20 is still with us. And the 50 cent is once again gone. So these are our coins for 1930. Now, 1931, we take away the $10 gold. We take away the quarter, which, by the way, is the end of this design. And so for 1930, we are down to just the penny, the nickel, the dime, and the $20 gold. This is what we have for 1931. So 1932, 25 cent now returns. Now finally in the new form, the newly introduced Washington quarter. Okay, but the 5 and the 10 cent are gone. The $10 coin, however, is brought back in. 1932, these are our coin designs. The penny, the quarter, $10 and $20 gold. 1933, the 25 cent again goes away. The $half returns for the 1 year. And this is it for 1933, although only one of these officially gets out, but that they were made officially in good numbers. Several leaked out, and one is made official. So this one counts. So this one is this is for 1933. It is also the end of the gold coins of any kind. So as we go into 1934, we see a lot of things come back. We see the 5 cent come back. We see the you see the 10 cent come back. We see the 25 cent come back. We see the $half come back. No, we don't see the $half come back yet. It's just still there. And we see also the silver dollar comes back. So 1934. We now have 1934. So this is what we have finally for 1934. And 1935. Well, 1936, the dollar goes away. That's the end of the peace dollar. And 37 is the same. Then 1938, we get a new nickel. Well, actually, we get two kinds in 1938 because there's still some buffalo designs from the Denver Mint from 1938, as well as the new Jefferson nickel from all three mints. So that is our coin set for 1938. 1939, the buffalo nickel is finally gone. And these are our coin designs, 1939, 40, 41. But as we go into war, 1942, the nickel is changed in alloy. The design not much changed, other than, well, you can see it ages differently, other than the color of the, other than the large mint mark on the over the dome here, so to indicate that it's a silver nickel. So this is the for 1942. 1943, there are no regular nickels made, only silver nickels. Also, the cent is now replaced with the famous steel cent. And so now the steel cent is a real unusual thing to see, a real novelty because of its white color. Well, white to black because it's steel-coated zinc, or zinc-coated steel, I should say. But anyway, that's our set for 1943. 1944, well, the steel cent didn't work out, so it was replaced with a copper cent again, with the one difference that where before all the copper pennies from 1864 until this point were 95, and the 2 cent pieces, by the way, were 95% copper and 5% of roughly half and half mix of tin and zinc. Here now, that last 5% is only zinc, so that's a very slight variation in the alloy, but that's what it was. But at any rate, that saved us on some tin. Then, 1945, it stays the same. Now, 1946, several things happen. First of all, mid-year, tin, the 5% tin and zinc is reintroduced to the cent. You know, no design changes, still the same wheatback design. But now the silver nickel is gone and replaced once again with a regular nickel. But the biggest change here is, as you can see, it looks the same in the front. Now no more big letter over the top. Biggest change, though, for 1946 is the introduction of the new dime featuring Roosevelt, which, you know, given A, he had just died, and B, he was very big with the polio. He died of polio, and he was kind of big in pushing the polio research with his March of Dimes way of trying to raise money. So it just made sense to put him on the dime. So there he is, and there he's been ever since. And that's 1946. Well, obviously 1947, our pennies are now back to the original alloy for our pennies, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, and all our other coins are as we see here. Well, that's 47. In 48, however, it's time for another big change, a new $half with Benjamin Franklin. That's our 1948, 1949, and 50, 51. Quite a span of stability here. Clear up until 1959, when a new cent is introduced. We didn't change Lincoln, but we did change the reverse by introducing the memorial design. So, and it just outright replaces everything in 1959. So our 1959 set is basically the same as you see here. Well, 1962, again, we're taking the zinc, the tin back out of the penny. So again, you have some with tin and some without. So you have both kinds in 1962. 1963, the tin is now out of the cent. It's all just copper and then zinc. And that's our set for 1963. Except President Kennedy is killed, and this $half, I'm sorry I didn't show it before, is now replaced with this new Kennedy $half. It's the new design. And there we have that. Well, the very next year, we have to change yet again. This time, not our pictures or images, whatever, but rather the alloy. So silver dimes and quarters are done with, and even the silver $half is reduced in silver, as they now have the new clad design, which has, as you can see in the edge, the outer parts are copper nickel, just like the nickel, but the inside you've got a pure copper. Same for the quarter. And even though this does have silver, it's only on the outside parts. You can still see the layer of copper in the middle. So that's our coin standard for 65, 6, 7, 8, 9, and even 70. But finally, in 1971, a few interesting things happened. First of all, the $half is finally made consistent with the other coins by being made simple copper nickel clad, just like the others. The other bigger change, however, for 1971 is the introduction of the Eisenhower Dollar. So that too is introduced as a clad. Now at last, a silverless silver dollar. However, even that now comes out in two forms, and this begins the introduction of a new gimmick. The idea of coins that exist, they're normal circulating coins officially. This is also an Eisenhower dollar and therefore a dollar, but this has 40% silver, which is to say the same clad structure as the $half had from 65 to 70. So now, but these are sold at a premium, whereas these are in circulation. Well, that's 1971, 2, and 3, and 4. Finally, for 1975, they got a new gimmick, and that is to introduce the Bicentennial, which again also comes in this gimmick of a regular circulation version. It's normal clad, copper nickel on the outside, and then a silver clad, silver on the outside, but still copper in the middle, and even a quarter that comes out that way. Okay. And even this is the only time that you see a $quarter with a 40% clad and a layer of copper in the middle between the silver, as well as the regular circulation Bicentennial quarter, which is still clad just like the other quarters are. The dime alone is unaffected. And so this is your Bicentennial set for 1975 and 1976. Hold on, no, there's also Bicentennial dollars. Hold on. So that's right. Even the Ike dollar gets a Bicentennial form here. So there's our new Ike dollar Bicentennial reverse. It's still clad, copper nickel. There are silver ones. They're also clad. It's harder to see, but there, that's Eisenhower dollar. So that's 75 and 76. And that's just the beginning of gimmicks. But at least it seems like that'll be over. The Bicentennial was kind of a big hoo-ha, so you can kind of excuse it once. But this sort of thing happens again. In 1977, of course, the original designs for these coins are restored. So now we're back to half dollars that just look like they did before, and quarters that looked like they did before. So, and Ike dollars that look just like they did before. Anyway, 77, 78. Well, 79 though, it's kind of time for another new dollar, because the big dollars were kind of inconvenient. So suddenly you get this new smaller. It's still a clad design, but it's just a little bit bigger than a quarter. Not a whole lot, but you can see, hold the two up, they're a little bit bigger, but a lot of people would mistake them for quarters until they looked closely at the design or noticed the slight size differential. So now that's the set for 1979, and also 80 and 81. In 82, two things happened. One, the dollar coin is now once again stopped. So now we're just down to the original denominations. But we have a new penny alloy here. This one is one of solid zinc with a thin copper coating. And we have both kinds in 1982. So that's what we would have for 1982. Finally, starting 1983, our pennies are made of zinc with a thin layer of copper. And the nickel is the only coin that hasn't changed in weight or alloy since 1883, or even diameter, or even since 1866 if you allow for the slight diameter change in 1883. And these coins are now just without any silver. As you can see, our circulating money has kind of stopped being interesting. And they have to try to make things interesting with special stuff that starts with silver proof issues, and then the special quarter series. The Susie B makes one last hurrah in 1999 to be replaced with the Sakajiwa in 2000. And of course, meanwhile, 1999 and 2000, there's a whole bunch of quarter designs, and I'm not going to drill into that. Anyway, that takes us through the 20th century. Thanks for listening.